What's up, friends? It's time for another LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed video, and today we're talking about 5 units that desperately need buffs. So there's a few things that we need to consider when we think about units that need buffs or units that are weaker than others. Number one is the amount of skills that they have. Generally, the units that have 3 skills, like 2 skills and a passive, are weaker than the units that have 4 skills and an ultimate. Usually the things that have 4 skills and an ultimate are just by default better because ultimates are usually really strong skills, so you have access to those skills. The units that have 3 skills right now, remember, they are adding more elixirs into the game, so they may be considering giving some of these 3 skill units more skills in the future when they do that push to add more elixirs, right? So keep that in mind, but currently, units that have only 3 skills right now are weaker than others just because every time their turn comes around, they have less options to choose from, and they lack this crazy strong ultimate ability, which are usually stronger than anything else, right? So that's the number one to take away from. Number 2 is stats. So you can take a look at all the base stats here for the units. Generally, units that have less tankiness, less health, less attack, less defense are going to be weaker than units that have, and especially speed, right, are going to be weaker than units that have higher base stats, higher defense, higher HP, higher speed, move first, get more turns, etc., right? So base stats definitely play a role in it. The third one that I want to mention is the synergies. Units that have very specific synergies where they can only be used in a space and justice team. It's like, who's running a space and justice team right now? At the time that I'm recording this video, this space justice team is not really a thing, right? You have like pirate teams, you have some pirate and wanted, you have Castle King's court teams, you have things like that. You have Ninjago teams, Spinjitzu teams, those synergies that are very strong meta synergies. So the units that have synergies that aren't very meta are generally the weaker ones, and anything that requires a certain synergy to work, like if it's not meta, it's basically a bad synergy. Like if a unit needs to be, for example, he has a skill that's 90% damage to target foe, deals 10% bonus damage for each active Imperial hero. Well, then you have to be running an Imperial team for it to do bonus damage. So it's very specific, whereas there's some units that are just like, we work regardless of what team. You could run a Pirates team, you could stick this unit in the Pirates team. You could run a Castle team, you could stick this unit as like a 5th in a Castle team, etc., etc. So generally the units that are more flexible are the stronger units. The units that are more specific are the weaker units. So this is the first one. This is the first one that needs a buff. I mean, we may see buffs when they add, we may see units getting new skills, like units that only have 3 skills, getting new skills when they add more elixirs, right? Or they have the other elixirs in the game, but they're not accessible just yet. So we may, when they do the patch to add those, we may see a lot of these units that only have 3 skills right now getting more skills. We may see other Imperial units, for example, like Pirate Imperial units, coming into the game that aren't in the game yet, that are going to be really strong, and then this guy gets a 4th skill, and then there's another pirate unit that gets really strong, and then something like this is like, oh, he's good now, right, in the future. But, you know, we don't know. But of course, that would be a buff to him because he would need a buff, right? So anyway, Private LeQuay, he is good in a Pirate Imperial team, basically an Imperial team. Bonus damage for each Imperial hero. This one, 90% damage to target foe, just one foe. 60% chance, not even 100% chance, to inflict accuracy down on them for 2 turns. Wow. It's amazing, right? I mean, like, the point is for it to be used against pirate teams, but it's not like a super crazy strong skill. And then we have, we have this one, wherever LeQuay gets a debuff, he has a 50% chance to gain skill up 1 for 2 turns. Does he really need, he doesn't need skill up 1 is like, wow, maybe like if he had like more resistance or more dodge or something like that for 2 turns instead of, that would make more sense than skill up 1 is like, oh, skill up 1, okay. I mean, that's not really what he needs to be good against pirates, but if you say so, or if he had like if it was 100% chance for accuracy down on skill 1, then he would be more relevant. He's just not, he's a counter to a Pirates team that isn't really a good counter to a Pirates team. And he's very situational at that. Number 2 on the list, not in any order though, not in any specific order, is Dr. Kelvin. think anyone that's played the game is like, oh, we expected her to be on this list, Bagel. We expect, again, 3 skills. What does the first skill do? No debuff. It's just damage, right? It's just damage. She's a support unit. Damage doesn't really, like, oh, tiny bit of damage. Wow. Just so amazing. Second skill, Frostbite Phaser. Reduces target foe's pep by 40%. That's it. There's no debuffs. There's no anything. It's not AoE. It's just reduces targets. Okay. In addition to that, she is also a Space Ice Planet Chill, which is not really meta, right? She only has 3 skills. Her first and second skills are basically nothing. Not very exciting. Her third skill is whenever Kelvin gains defense up. She doesn't give herself defense up, by the way. She has a 20% chance. Well, actually, when it goes up to max, whenever she gains defense up, she has a 100% chance to gain grip 1, not 2, just 1, for 3 turns. Whenever she gains defense up, which means she has to be paired with something that gives her defense. She's just the biggest fart sandwich of a unit in this entire game. She's like the poster child for bad units anonymous. She's not synergies that aren't meta. Number 1, bad skills. You know what? I should have included bad skills that don't really do very much at the as well. And then not very many skills. So I mean, if there's any unit that needs a buff, that's what the whole video is, though. Number 3 on the list is Zombie. So the difference between Zombie and some of the other units on here is he actually has really good base speed. 122 base speed is not bad. However, if we take a look at his skills, 110% damage to target foe. He's an attacker. Okay, he's an attacker. 40% chance to copy 1 debuff from himself to them. 1 debuff. I mean, I would like it more if it transferred, and not a 40% chance is not a very high chance. 100% chance to transfer 1 debuff would be much better. That would actually be decent, right? Heads up for second skill. 100% damage to target foe. Zombie heals for 50% of damage dealt. Okay, that could be good if he had a damage mitigation skill or some kind of like, zombie can't be killed unless he gets hit by a specific like critical hit or something like that, right? So that would be an interesting other passive. He doesn't have that passive, but it would be an interesting other passive. He's got this It's Tax Season passive. Starts the battle with 1 stack of revive. Whenever he's defeated, he has 1 or more stacks of revive. He has a 100% chance to reassemble at 100% health. Clears 1 stack of revive. Currently he doesn't get more revive, right? There's maybe going to be a mechanic in the future where he gets more stacks of revives. And I can see this guy being really annoying and powerful when they add units. Also, he's spooky. He's spooky and collectible. There's not really a lot of synergies with spooky and collectible right now. So, in the future, when they have mechanics to give Zombie more stacks of revive, or if he does something else, like he's so close. Like if they put as part of his passive, like he can only be killed by a critical hit or by a certain stipulation, then he stays alive. He doesn't die, or like he somehow gives himself more revives, right? So there's more ways to be more annoying. Because right now it's just like, okay, Zombie's not really a threat. You do damage to him, you kill him, he comes back, you kill him again. He's not really doing debuffs to your team. He's not really buffing himself to make himself more of a threat. He's a DPS unit that he just heals, right? So if they added, I mean, he's actually very close. Weirdly enough, he's actually very close to being good if they just added extra to his passive of like, he'll cleanse himself if he's got like a couple debuffs, or you can only kill him with a certain type of attack or something like that. That's close to being good, right? Or if like his first skill transferred 1 debuff to the enemies with 100% chance. Like those little tweaks could be good, and then more synergy with spooky and collectible. I could see him being a viable unit in the future. Just for right now, he's just because he got 122 base speed, right? It's not bad. But for right now, he doesn't do enough. He's just, oh, you kill him and then you kill him again. He provides not really enough of a threat, and he provides not really enough of an annoyance that he potentially may be a huge annoyance in the future. Depends on what the rest of the spooky synergies can come up with. Next on the list is Minor Clay. Now this is a unit that I think could have potential in the future if a few things go in his favor. Number 1, he has Explorer support city tags. He doesn't have any additional tags aside from that. Number 2, his speed is 92. That's not really a great speed, right? It's pretty slow unit. Number 3, he doesn't have too many. Well, he doesn't have a buff on the first skill. I mean, yeah, a buff or a debuff on the first skill. He's a support unit. He doesn't do like, it's like, okay, 110% damage. No debuff or anything, no buff or anything, right? On the first skill, which holds him back. The second skill, select the target hero. That hero gains defense up 1 for 3 turns and grit up 1 for 3 turns. Only defense up 1 and grit up 1. Only 1. Not 2, not defense up 2. Only 1 and 1. Also, this is only a single target, right? Only a single target and only defense up 1 and grit up 1. For the second one, again, grants attack up 1, not attack up 2. Attack up 1 for himself for 2 turns and deals 70% damage to target foe. But he's a support unit. He's attack up, but he's a support unit. A random hero also gains attack up 1 for 2 turns and assists for 100% damage. But it's random, right? It is 100% damage, which is not bad, but it's random, and again, it's attack up 1 and attack up 2. If they upgraded this to attack up 2, and then they upgraded this up to, I mean, I would still like for it to be like maybe a heal defense up and grit up, right? That would be even better. And then this passive, he's got, at the start of battle, all heroes have their grit increased by 20%. I could see some uses for that. 10% bonus grit for city heroes. But city's really not a strong synergy right now. There's really not, no one's building a city team. I mean, aside from me, but aside from that, normal people, rational, reasonable human beings are not building city teams. So that's another reason that he lacks tags, he lacks speed. He has weaker versions of buffs. And there's not really a lot of city synergy, but I feel that he could, with a couple nice city units being added to the game, and with a couple, like with a debuff here, or a buff like a dodge up or something like that, he could gain some, I mean, with the Ice Glider though, like he does have a couple buffs, which will heal with the Ice Glider, but just the 2 versions, right? Defense up 2, grit up 2, attack up 2 would make him definitely a more viable unit. So he's got some potential. I mean, he's still slow, but he does have this passive that activates at the beginning of battle, regardless of his speed. That's going to activate at the beginning of battle. So he's got some potential in the future. Watch out for this guy, but for right now, he's not really anything too special. Last on the list, and man, there's so many other ones I want to put on this, because there's so many other ones I'm like, this guy needs a buff too, this guy needs a buff too, this guy needs a buff, like Headley, like Darwin, like, there's a lot of things that still did, Paramedic Poopy, there's a lot of things, right? But last on the list is Blacktron Dwayne. So, he suffers from a few things. He suffers from, number 1, he only has 3 skills, which is not off to a good start. Number 2, speed 94, not really anything too crazy. Number 3, he's got space tag. Space is not really meta right now. He's got a Blacktron, why do I want to say twag? A Blacktron tag, which is, there's no real Blacktron synergies right now, right? So he's got those which don't work in his favor. And again, he's got low base speed. He's got only 3 skills. Let's take a look at his actual skills here. 110% damage to target foe. 60% chance to inflict grit down, at least he has a debuff, for 2 turns. Okay, grit down 2 for 2 turns on skill 1 is not bad. 40% bonus chance to target city. There's not really a city meta, right? So it's like 40% bonus chance. This is great for all those city teams that we fight in arena. Oh wait, there's not. Never mind. So it's just a 60% chance basically, because we don't go into any arena with him. Notorious Tech, what do we have here? 125% damage to target foe, reduces their pet by 30%. Okay, 30%. If the target has Dizzy, this ability deals critical damage instead. There is a lot of units right now that have synergies. If the foes have Dizzy, if this has Dizzy, if that has Dizzy, if that has Dizzy, that they would be a lot stronger, all those units, if there was more mechanics to give enemies Dizzy. That would be a big game-changing thing if they had more Dizzy, more things that give Dizzy in the game than a lot of these other units, like the Yeti, like Zane, like all the different things that have Dizzy interactions, would be stronger just by having more Dizzy on enemies. So, if the target has Dizzy, ability deals critical damage, which would be great, but there's not a whole lot of units that have a large chance to inflict Dizzy, right? And then the third one, the passive. At the start of the battle, Dwayne's critical damage increases for 5% for each active space hero. That means you have to be running a space team for this to work. Space team's not really meta, right? Whenever Dwayne deals attacks a foe who has stun, he deals 30% bonus damage. Man, it'd be crazy meta if there was more stun in the game. There's not really too much stun in the game as well. So, weirdly enough, he is a space unit and a Blacktron unit, but I feel like he has synergies with chill units. Because chill units, if we take a look at like some of the chill units in the game, there's interactions here, Dizzy, inflicted with stun. There's also interactions with, where is he? Zane. Zane has a Dizzy here. So there's different interactions with, I already lost them. There's different interactions actually with chill teams. So I feel like you could, in the future, depending on what gets buffed, what gets changed, when different sets come in. Well, actually, I think there's some good sets that would benefit that already. But he needs a little tweaks, maybe some more synergies, and he could, in the future, have a pretty decent interactions with a chill team. Weirdly enough, I don't know, people may disagree with me, but I just see him potentially being used, I mean, in a space team, in like a space, and I'm surprised actually that he doesn't have the wanted tag, because aren't they supposed to be the bad guy? Like, they're always in jail in the actual sets. They're like the space police, and then like these guys are always in jail. So I'm not sure why, like maybe he'll have the wanted tag in the future or something like that. But yeah, there's always, but I feel like he's gonna have a lot of synergies with chill stuff, right? Just because he's got synergy with Dizzy and he's got synergies with stuns, which those are chill teams. But anyway, there's still more units that I think need buffs as well. I'm like, these are the only 5 units that need buffs, but I feel like these may be the ones that they need them more, and they have more potential to be actually really good when they do have buffs. But again, like a lot of this stuff is just like based on like what is strong in the meta, and these units are not part of the strong factions, which is like some of the reasons that they're not strong units. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got a kick out of it. Let me know what you think in the, because I know some people are going to disagree. They're going to be like, yo, this one is so much worse than that one. This unit, Headley's not good at all. Like, why didn't you put Headley on there? Why didn't you put like all this other stuff, paramedic poopy, right? Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will see you as always in the next one.